My beloved child, this letter is unlike any whisper you've ever heard in your heart. It is not the echo of your loneliness, nor a fleeting thought formed in the haze of imagination, nor an emotion stirred by an empty night. This is me, God the Eternal One, speaking to you clearly, earnestly, and urgently, not to judge, but to save, not to condemn, but to call you back before time runs out. My dear one, this letter, yes, this very one, is of utmost importance. So important that I can no longer remain silent. I have waited patiently while you chased your own desires, wandered down paths that led you nowhere. But today I must speak, for the truth you need to hear can no longer be delayed. Someone has entered my eternal kingdom and pleaded with a longing heart that I allow this message to reach you. There is something they could not let go of, the hope that you would receive this word, hear it, and awaken to the true meaning of life. The days ahead are fewer than you think, and the things you're living for those you believe you can still control are quietly drawing you away from your true self, away from love, away from faith, away from purpose. You don't realize it, but you've veered off the path I prepared for you. You are breathing, but your soul is withering. And if you do not turn back soon, everything you once thought mattered will become nothing more than a distant echo in the void. That person, the one you once loved, the one whose memory still dwells in the gentlest corners of your heart, is now in my presence. They have entered a light that never fades, a peace beyond the reach of human language. But even amid that glory, their heart still molded by love beats with one final desire: that you would listen to this letter, that you would recognize this is no accident, nor is it a mere imagination. This is a message from heaven, a calling from me, the one who knows you more intimately than anyone, even more than you know yourself. I know how far you've gone, not just in action, but in the depths of your soul. You've believed lies about yourself, about me, about the meaning of life and of death. You've allowed other voices to take the place I once held in your heart, voices that promised freedom but brought chains instead, invitations that wore the face of happiness but left you emptier than before. You've learned to cover pain with laughter and distraction, to mask fear behind composure. You've grown so used to being strong that you no longer allow yourself to be weak. But there is one truth you cannot deny forever: your soul is crying out, and I cannot ignore its cry. No one but me can heal the wounds you've hidden so well. No one but me knows how many silent tears you've shed, or how exhausted you are from being strong for everyone else. I was there in every unnoticed moment, in every embrace you longed to receive, in every apology you never heard. So I speak to you today with an urgency like never before. Stop and listen. Let my words reach into the deepest places within you, those parts even you have forgotten. Not because I wish to rebuke you, but because I love you too much to let you go on living this way. The world has spoken enough. Words that have left you tired, scattered, uncertain, even wounded. But today, let me be the one who speaks not in thunder, not in noise, but with a voice gentle, true, and full of power. A voice that can revive a soul gone cold. The same voice that shaped the heavens and the earth. The voice that is calling your name. My child, this is love's intervention. A love that is not based on performance, that asks for nothing in return, that knows no limits. A love that once hung on a cross, bore every pain so that you might live. A love that is still waiting for you patiently, but no longer silently. I do not want to see you continue walking in darkness. I do not want you to lose yourself chasing things that seem right but leave your soul malnourished. It is time to return, not to a religion, not to a set of rules, but to me, your source of life, the one who knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb, the one who called you by name and never left, no matter how far you wandered. And today you are hearing this letter not by chance. It is I who led you here, because the time for delay is over. Because this letter is an opportunity you must not miss. My beloved, when I saw you bow your head in silence beside the grave of the one you loved, my heart grieved with yours. You were not alone in that moment, even if everyone else had turned away and left you with your quiet sorrow. I was there, not watching from afar with detachment, but right beside you, closer than the breeze that brushed your hair. Do you know this death, as you think of it, is not the end? To me, it is merely the doorway into the eternal, where love is freed from the bounds of flesh and time. True love does not perish at the edge of the grave. It passes through. It lives on in me, for I am the very essence of love itself. Someone once asked, "How can love remain when the one we love is gone?" And I replied, "Love is not bound by the body, it is woven of spirit, and the spirit does not die. The one who went before you, they still love you. Not through the embraces of yesterday, but with a rhythm more pure, stronger, and gentler, from a place without tears or brokenness. I see their hearts stir every time your name is spoken before me. You cannot hear it, but I do, and I carry that love to you. Not as a memory, but as a living presence. You once believed death had stolen the most precious thing from you, but child, nothing can be stolen from my hands once I've marked it with eternity. Love born in me is guarded by me. When you feel the ache, when your heart longs for a familiar voice, a familiar touch, it is not weakness, it is the echo of the soul. For love does not vanish, it only changes form. I have allowed that connection to remain not through mysticism, but through spiritual sensitivity. A memory revived, a feeling stirred, a sudden comfort when you thought you couldn't go on. These are all the gentle signs of a love that has not died. There are things you cannot see, yet they are no less real, like the wind, like breath, like me. And love is the same. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, can separate you from my love in Christ Jesus your Lord. You have heard those words from Romans 8:38-39, but today I want you to live in their truth. No wall between realms can block my love from reaching you, and no distance can prevent that sanctified love from the one you miss from touching you through me. I often ask myself, do they still remember me? I say to you, yes. Not only do they remember, you are now seen more clearly than ever. Not with the limited eyes of this world, but through my light, a light unclouded by resentment or misunderstanding. Their love is no longer possessive or clinging, but free, pure, and deeper than before. They no longer dwell in regret. They have only one longing: for you to know you are loved and to live in my light. I hear their silent intercession for you, not through spoken words, but through a silent pleading that takes shape in the light of eternity. I know there are times when you close your heart for fear that opening it will let the pain flood back in. But my child, what you shut away is not just pain, it is also healing. Do not fear your emotions, for I gave you a heart that feels, not so you would bear suffering alone, but so that I could step into it, bringing love and healing. When you allow me to touch the places that once ached, you will come to realize that true love does not require the other to return, for they have never truly left in eternity. They may no longer walk beside you as they once did, but they are nearer now in a deeper way through me. My beloved child, I did not take them from you to hurt you. Everything I do is founded in wisdom and mercy, but neither do I allow the distance between you and them to become a chasm of despair. I have made a way that is me, so that love is never interrupted. When you live in me, you are connected to them not by memory, but by truth. When you worship me, when you allow your spirit to be filled with my presence, that which is real and eternal comes alive in you, including the love you thought was lost. So today, do not push away the feelings that seem fragile. Let them lead you back to me. Let the love that once made you weep now make you strong. I never intended for that love to become a burden, but a foundation. Not a sorrowful song, but an anthem of encouragement to carry you forward. For one day, when all that is temporary fades, when darkness is no more, when every tear is wiped away, you will see them again. And this time there will be no more separation. But until that day, I will be the one who connects you to a love that never dies. I am that love. My precious child, I know there were moments when you feared me. Not a reverent fear, but one born of believing I was angry, that I was disappointed, waiting for the moment to punish you. You grew up surrounded by threats, by distorted images of a stern God constantly watching your failures. But my child, that is not me. I do not stand at a distance holding a ledger to count your every fall. I am a father, and more than a father, I am love. If I come to you today, it is not to add the burden of guilt to your shoulders, but to lift it off of you. I did not come to condemn, I came to save. As I have spoken, For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. John 3:1-7. My dear one, I've seen how many times you have condemned yourself. Long before anyone accused you, you told yourself you weren't good enough, not holy enough, not worthy to return, and those silent words in your heart built a wall between you and me. But I have never required perfection for you to come home. You think you must clean everything up, live righteously, keep every law before daring to enter my presence. But my child, it is precisely because you cannot do that I came. If you could save yourself, the cross would not have been necessary. If you could wash yourself clean, then my Son's blood would not have been shed. I love you as you are, not because you are worthy, but because you are mine. I have never turned away anyone who came to me with a true heart. No matter how stained, no matter how shameful, the past one glance back, one whisper in the silence, and I come running. Do you remember the prodigal son? He wandered in filth, lived like a stranger, but with one step back, the father in the story ran to meet him. And I am the one who told that story, not to entertain, but to reveal my heart. I run to you in the same way, not with a rod in hand, but with a robe, a ring, and a feast. For one soul returning is never a tragedy in heaven, it is a celebration. You once thought that if I truly knew you, I could not love you. But my dear, I already know everything, even the things you've never told anyone. And because I know it all, I love you all the more. The wounds you hide, the wrong turns, the broken promises to yourself, I do not despise them. I understand the deeper reasons behind them. I see the hunger within you, the hunger to be understood, to be accepted, to be loved without condition. I do not erase consequences, but I provide a way out, not through your deeds, but through my mercy. You don't have to keep running because I've already run ahead to find you. Remember, I never begin a conversation with, "What have you done?" but with, "Where are you?" That is what I asked Adam in the garden. Though I knew where he stood, I wanted him to know that I was still seeking him even after he had sinned. And today I am seeking you, not to interrogate, but to restore. You may have gone far, but never too far for my reach. No one can pull you out of my heart unless you refuse to remain there. But if today, even silently, you whisper, "Lord, I'm tired," that alone is enough to move me to lift you up. You don't need perfect answers. You just need to come. In weakness, in shame, in all your broken pieces, I do not turn you away. I only long for you to return to my arms, so I can hold you for a long while and whisper, "You are not alone," for truly I have never abandoned you. The times you thought I was silent were when I was sitting beside you, waiting for you to take off the mask of strength. I am not afraid of your tears. I am not surprised by your struggles. But you must remember, I came to restore, not to judge. My love doesn't search for perfect people to love, it searches for the wounded to heal. So today, my child, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. Don't keep running. Don't go on punishing yourself in silence. I do not demand that you memorize all of Scripture, nor do I ask you to become someone else. I just want you to be yourself, and let me do the rest. I will teach you a new way to live. I will heal what you thought would never heal. I will rebuild your life from the broken stones. Not because you are good enough, but because I am enough. And if you are willing to take my hand, then nothing, not even your greatest failure, can stop the glorious future I am preparing for you. My beloved child, I see you on those nights when you turn your face to the wall, not sobbing aloud, yet your pillow is soaked with silent tears. I was there. I have never turned away from you because of your weakness. On the contrary, when you are broken, I come closer than ever. Not a single tear of yours has been wasted. Not a single heavy breath has gone unnoticed. You may think no one understands the inner battle you face each day, but I do. I've seen even the things you try to hide, the unspoken pain, the questions you don't dare voice. And my child, those very tears, I have preserved them with utmost care, not letting one fall to the ground without meaning. As I said through the Psalms, you have kept count of my wanderings, put my tears in your bottle. You are not forgotten. You have always been engraved upon my heart. There are days when you walk among crowds and still feel invisible, times when you force a smile and say, "I'm fine," while inside your soul is screaming. You think no one sees, no one cares, And at moments you even wonder, does God hear me? But child, I hear you not with ears, but with my heart. I hear the pain in your silence more clearly than 1,000 eloquent prayers. A single sigh from you is enough to quiet heaven so it can listen. Because I am not only the Almighty God, I am the close Father, the one who touches the wounds you're afraid to name. Others may forget you, but I have never taken my eyes off you, not even for a moment. You've thought yourself too small to be noticed. I hear the way you compare yourself to others, the ones with peaceful families, strong faith, and hearts free from fear. But child, don't be deceived. I don't look at you through the lens of accomplishments, nor do I measure your worth by how often you stand tall. I see you through eyes of unchanging love. Each time you stumble but still dare to look up, heaven rejoices. Each time you hold on to a sliver of hope in the darkness, I am proud. Each time you choose to return, even if only with a sigh, I run to meet you with all my heart. I have seen every burden pressing down on your shoulders, from childhood wounds to today's quiet disappointments. I've seen how you try to be strong so others won't worry. I've seen how you grit your teeth when there's no one to lean on. And I am not unmoved. In fact, I carry each of those pains within my own heart. You don't have to hide from me. I am not afraid of the truth. I am the truth, and I want to heal you with my very light. But you must let me in. Let me see the wounds clearly. I will not shame you for being weak. I will not accuse you for having despaired. I will hold you and wipe away your tears like a father wipes the tears of his little child, not to scold but to love. My precious child, you have never been a forgotten case among millions of prayers. You are the distinct voice I listen for every day. There are things I haven't answered right away, not because I don't hear, but because I am working silently within you. Some tears need no explanation, only an embrace, and I am that embrace. There are nights when you don't even pray, you just lie there in heavy silence, and still I come sit beside you and ask nothing of you. Because real love doesn't demand words, it stays even in the silence. I am there, and I have never forgotten a single moment of your life. My child, I know your heart quietly asks, when will healing come? And my answer is, it has already begun from the very moment you allowed yourself to cry, to hurt, and to breathe honestly in my presence. Don't rush the process. Those tears are softening your heart so I can reach deeper. They don't make you weak. They make you real. And truth is the foundation of restoration. You don't need to push aside your emotions to prove your faith. In your tears, your faith is being formed, not a dry faith that merely says the right things, but a living faith born of sincerity and the cracks of your soul. I value that more than any performance. Because I know behind every tear is a long journey, things you've endured, that no one understands, words you long to hear that no one ever said. I will be the one who listens. I will be the one who speaks those words. And one day you will see not a single one of your tears fell without becoming part of something greater. Do you know the story of Hagar, the servant cast out into the wilderness? She was a woman dismissed, driven away from safety with a hungry child in her arms. In her isolation, Hagar thought she would die, but it was there in the driest, most painful place that I came. I called her by name. I asked, "Where have you come from and where are you going?" Not because I didn't know, but so she would remember there is one who still sees and cares for the fate of someone the world had forgotten. And when Hagar realized this, she named me the God who sees me. Genesis 1:6-1-3. Do you see? Not when she was strong, not when she was triumphant, but in her weakest moment I revealed my name to her. Your story is no different. Though you may think you are just a small voice among millions of prayers each day, I want you to know, I don't just hear your words, I see you. I see you clearly. I see behind the strong front a soul needing to be held. I see behind your weary eyes a heart that still hopes. I see every reluctant step you take just to get through another day, still believing something good will come. I see, and I am moved. Because you are mine, not because you always stand firm, but because you have not given up. That is the sign that the flame within you has never truly gone out. So today, let me wipe your tears not with flowery words, but with eternal presence. Let me whisper to you not with arguments, but with love that has never left. Remember, if Hagar, a forsaken woman, was seen by me in the wilderness, then you, my beloved, are remembered every single day. And if I have counted every tear you've shed, every wandering step you've taken, how could I ever leave you alone? You are not abandoned. You are in the process of healing. And I, yes, I am the one walking with you day by day, hour by hour, breath by breath. My beloved child, I see you looking back at the past with eyes full of regret. You think you've lost something precious and there's no way to reclaim it. At times you blame yourself, other times you blame others, and in the painful silence you sometimes even blame me. But I understand, because I know how your dreams were shattered. I do not blame you for hurting. I certainly do not accuse you for your mistakes. This is what you need to know: your past, no matter how broken, cannot stop me from writing a new story for you. Don't let what's behind you lie to you and tell you it's all you'll ever have. There are things that happen beyond your will, and not from me either. This world is full of cracks, and you live among them trying to walk without breaking too. But sometimes what you fear most still happens. Relationships fall apart, dreams fade, trust is betrayed, and hearts are crushed. You look back at those paths and think they ruined you. But I see it differently. In those broken pieces, I see something still intact: your ability to be restored. Not by your own strength, but by mine, the strength of the one who rebuilds from what others call ruined. You may wonder, how can I possibly begin again from here? But I tell you, this is the beginning. There is no need to go back to what once was. No need to rebuild what has fallen in the exact same way. I am the one who makes all things new, and what I have for you is not a refurbished version of the past, but something you have never imagined. Do not be bound by what you thought should have happened. I am not confined by should have or if only. All I need is your heart willing to step out from the ruins. Even if it's just one step, I will carry you the rest of the way. Have you ever seen a seed bloom in the light? No, it breaks open deep in the dark soil, and yet it is in that darkness where life begins to stir. You think you are buried, but you are being planted. What you saw as an ending may be the beginning of an entirely new life. Do not fear the breaking. I, the Creator, allowed my own body to be broken on the cross so that life could rise in glory. If I was willing to be wounded for love, then I am not hesitant to enter your brokenness and bring restoration. I want you to remember this. You are not defined by what has happened, but by what I am preparing. Your memories may be heavy with sighs, but your future, if you let me lead, will overflow with songs. Do not lock your soul in the old room of guilt and regret. I have already opened the door. Light is pouring in. You only need to step forward. Even if your steps tremble, even if doubts remain in your heart, keep walking and you will see me ahead, arms open, waiting for you with joy. I do not need you to become perfect overnight. I only need you to believe that I can do something new with you. Don't compare your journey to another's. Dense. The pieces within you are the raw material for something unique. No one has your story, and because of that, your restoration will carry a beauty unlike any other. Others may not understand. They may not believe, but you don't need them all. You only need me, and I have never doubted your ability to rise again. I specialize in rebuilding from what others have thrown away. Beloved, pause for a moment and look at my hands. These hands once cradled you when you were just a child, unaware of anything. They held you when no one else did. And today they are still open, inviting you to begin again, not with fear, but with hope. Your past may be in pieces, but it cannot destroy the eternal plan I have for you. As long as you have breath, your story is still unfolding, and the best part has not yet been written. So let me, the author of life, take the blank page and start again with you today. My beloved child, for so long you believed that coming close to me was difficult. You heard that to be loved by me, you had to live righteously, read the Bible faithfully, attend church regularly, pray correctly, and keep every commandment. Though those teachings are not wrong, they may have quietly closed your heart. You assumed I only come near to the perfect. You thought my love was conditional, and so you carried a fear that if you failed, I would leave you. But today I want you to know this. I did not create you to live under the anxiety of being good enough. I did not call you into relationship with me as if you were standing before a judge. I am a father, and I have always longed for connection, not religious transaction. My child, if all I wanted was obedience, I would have created machines. But I formed you with my very breath, with a heart, with feelings, with will, so that you might love long and choose. What I seek from you is not flawless behavior, but a true heart. I rejoice when you obey, but I treasure it even more when your obedience flows from love, not fear. Between you and me, the most precious thing is intimacy, the place where you dare to be real, to breathe, to live honestly before me. I'm not waiting for you behind a mask of moral perfection. I want you to come just as you are, with your confusion, your weakness, your disappointments. Only when you are real can our love grow deep. I know there are days when you try to do the right thing, simply because you're afraid of punishment. But true love cannot be nurtured by fear. You cannot love someone you're always afraid will leave you. And I do not want that to be your relationship with me. I want you to wake up each day with this certainty: I am loved. Not because you performed well yesterday, but because my nature is love. Not because you're religiously disciplined, but because you are mine. When you live from love, you'll naturally desire to do what's right, not to earn acceptance, but because you already know you're accepted. Do you remember the first time you truly felt my presence? Back then, you didn't know all the rules. You didn't have a perfect theology, but you wept because your soul encountered something real, not a concept, not a doctrine, but a father, a presence that didn't condemn but embraced you and whispered, "You belong to me." I haven't changed since that moment. Perhaps complicated teachings have clouded your original experience. Perhaps you've begun to believe that you must get it right to maintain the connection. But my child, our relationship is not sustained by your perfection. It is rooted in my unchanging faithfulness. I do not invite you merely to be a good sheep in the fold. I invite you to be a companion, to sit together, to speak honestly, to know that your worth is not in what you do for me, but in the simple truth that I have loved you long before you ever did anything. I remember each morning you whispered, "Hello." I even remember the times you sat in silence, staring at the ceiling, unsure of what to say. To me, that too was prayer. Love does not demand words. It only asks for presence. And I, the Almighty, choose to be present with you, not out of duty, but out of true love. So, my dear one, do not let faith become a burden. Do not turn what is living into a lifeless ritual. If you are tired, say you're tired. If you are sad, tell me you're sad. If you are angry even at me, say it. I am not afraid of the truth. I only grieve when you pretend, because I love the real soul inside you, even if it's still in pieces. You don't need to hide from me when you're weak. That's when I long to be closest. True relationship does not demand perfection, it demands honesty. And I already see everything within you. You only need to come and I will take care of the healing. So today, return not as a role-playing sheep, not as a shame-covered sinner, but as a child. Speak to me as you once did when your heart was still tender and unguarded by disappointment. I am not as far as you think. I am standing at the door of your heart and knocking, not to demand anything, but to share a meal with you, as loved ones do, as family does. I invite you not into a proper Christian life, but into a relationship that is honest, healing, and eternal. For that place is your home. My beloved child, there are those you once cherished deeply, people you were close to, people you could not imagine life without. But then they left. You still remember their voices, their eyes, their posture, and all the words left unsaid. Though time has passed, those memories remain vivid, as if only yesterday you have wept. You have cried out in your heart and asked me, "Why did you let them go?" I heard it all. I do not blame you for your pain or your questions. I too once wept at Lazarus's tomb, not because I lacked the power to raise him, but because I understood the heartbreak of human separation. And today I want you to know this: they are not gone. They are alive, and not just alive, but standing in glory, testifying and cheering you on each day. You thought that when they left this earth, every bond was severed. But my child, death is only a transition, not a final ending. True love rooted in me, cannot be buried in a grave. It does not dissolve with time. It transforms. It transcends the limits of the body and lives on in the light of eternity. In that realm, they have not forgotten you. On the contrary, they see you more clearly than ever. Not through the lens of pain nor through human limitation, but with the clarity of eternal light, and their hearts still shaped by pure love continue to beat softly beside every one of your steps. You think I am silent when you remember them, but you don't realize that I am standing between you and them, acting as the bridge between two realms. While you sigh on earth, they rejoice in heaven as they see you pressing on. I hear their voices not in words, but in spirit, like a gentle breeze whispering into your mind. This is not imagination. It is a spiritual truth I allow to comfort you. As I have spoken, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, Hebrews 1:2-1, they are the ones who have gone before, not to be far from you, but to cheer you on from eternity like faithful spectators, urging you forward on your race. You might ask, what do they see? How can they possibly know? But my child, in my light, all limits are removed. They are not preoccupied with earthly details, but they see with fullness, and in that fullness they see you as you are being formed. They do not look at you through the lens of your present failures, but through the victory you will ultimately receive. They do not dwell on your past mistakes. They long for you not to give up. They do not regret what was left undone. They hope you will complete what I entrusted to both of you. True love does not require physical presence to endure. It lives in me, and I live in you. I remember the day you quietly whispered in your heart, if only they were still alive so I could ask for one more piece of advice. I heard it. And I answered not with their voice, but through a quiet reminder, a gentle sensation, an unexpected thought that came to your mind. You thought it was coincidence, but it was truly my encouragement carrying their love to you in a new form. I have not left you alone. Even though they are no longer on this earth, I've left behind the echo of their love in your heart, like an old melody you never forget. That love, if born in me, does not die. It only changes form. So, my child, do not live in mourning as though all that was good has ended. Live as one who is still deeply loved from both sides. From me, the one who loves you unconditionally, and from them, those who have gone before but still encourage you every day. When you grow weary, picture the rows of witnesses clapping, cheering, whispering, "Keep going, you can do it." They do not wish for you to live forever in sorrow. They hope you live in a way that honors the love you once shared. So that one day, when the race is done, when the faith is kept, you will see them again. No more tears, no more separation, only eternal glory in me. My beloved one, there were times when you asked me, "Lord, why are you silent?" And I heard you. You thought I was quiet, but in truth I was speaking. You were simply expecting me to speak in a way familiar to you. You waited for a voice from heaven, a grand sign, a powerful emotion. But sometimes I choose to whisper. Not because I am distant, but because I want you to learn how to listen with your spirit, not merely your ears. You are not abandoned. You are being taught how to grow in relationship with me. Like a father who doesn't always shout to be heard, but at times leans in and speaks gently because he wants his child to come closer. I am the Almighty, and I have countless ways to speak. Sometimes through my word, clear, powerful, sharper than a double-edged sword. Other times through a friend's offhand comment that strikes the very center of your heart. Still other times through a dream when you are no longer in control. I come like a stream of living water flowing into the deepest parts. I have done this before. Do you remember Joseph, Mary's husband? I spoke to him in a dream. Do not fear to marry Mary. Take the child to Egypt. Return when all is safe. He did not hear me through prophets, did not see me in a cloud, but through a dream. And he believed. That quiet faith safeguarded the Savior of mankind. I know there are times you doubt what you feel. You fear it is just your own thoughts, fleeting emotions. But my child, I can also speak through memory, a sudden image, a familiar scent, a song that stirs your heart. You think it is only emotion, but if you place it within my presence, you'll realize it is a gentle whisper. I am still here. I can even speak through silence, not the silence of abandonment, but the holy silence where the soul is invited into rest. In a noisy world, it is my silence that becomes the loudest voice. How many times have you looked back and suddenly realized that was the Lord leading me? Though at the time nothing seemed clear, That is because I always go before you, and I speak not to impress but to guide. You don't need a grand miracle to believe I am at work. The small nudges, the peace amidst chaos, the unexpected clarity during prayer, all may be my voice if you learn to listen. Do not dismiss the whisper in your spirit. It is in that very place that you will find me closest, not seen with your eyes, but known in your faith. I do not force myself upon you. I do not shout into your ears. I invite, and like any invitation, you may respond or ignore it. But if you begin to prepare your heart like a quiet room, I will enter, not with dazzling spectacle, but with lasting warmth. You may be surprised when I remind you of a scripture you memorized long ago at just the right time, or when I bring back the advice of a loved one now gone, and your heart is strangely comforted. These are not coincidences. They are signs of a living God still speaking, still attending to every step you take in love. My child, if your heart has softened, if you feel a quiet certainty in your spirit amid chaos, that may be me speaking. I am not limited by method. I am only hindered by a heart that refuses to listen. But I know you. You long to hear my voice, so keep learning to be still. Let me teach you to discern what is from me and what is from your own soul. Then you'll realize my voice is not always loud, but always clear. Not always forceful, but always full of love. And once you learn this, you won't fear the moments when you don't hear me, because you'll know I am always here, always speaking every single day. My beloved one, you once believed that love only held power within the bounds of time and life. That once someone departed this world, everything ended. No more connection, no more hope, no word could reach you. But my child, I did not create love to be bound like that. I am the one who has set eternity in the human heart, so that what is real, what comes from me, will never be forgotten. He has set eternity in the human heart. Ecclesiastes 3:1-1. And love, when woven in me, is marked with eternity's fragrance. Have you noticed how at moments of weariness, memories of someone past suddenly flood your soul? A photo falls out, a strange dream lingers, an old phrase echoes in your mind. None of this is random. I allow it not so you will remain in the past, but so you'll know that true love does not die. They have crossed into another realm, but in my light they have not vanished. They have been transformed, no longer in pain, but still fully themselves, radiant and alive in me. And their love, if born of truth, can still touch your soul in ways your mind cannot understand. Do you know why your heart sometimes stirs as if some invisible part of you is responding to something deeply spiritual? It's because eternity has already been planted within you. You are not a creature made only for the present. Your soul longs for something more, a connection that cannot be severed, cannot be destroyed. I let you sense this not to lead you into superstition or confusion, but to show you that true love is not a fleeting feeling. It is something etched into eternity. And when the one you love is in me, that bond is not broken, it is simply transformed. You may no longer see them as you once did, but you can feel their heart within me. At times I place a gentle light in your mind, a word they once spoke, a way they once loved, so that you may know goodness is never lost. I do not bring them back to the earth, but I allow the love they left behind to remain alive in you, not as a sorrowful shadow, but as a living encouragement. And as you go on, as you live bravely and trustfully, you are allowing that love to bear fruit in the here and now. Do not fear remembering those who have passed. Do not think it makes you weak or lost in illusion. I am the one who created memory, and memory, when lifted into the light, can become a prayer. You can speak to me about them. You may cry. You may laugh as you remember. And I will listen, holding those moments close to my own fatherly heart. For I love you, and I love them too, those I have brought home to eternity. Both souls, one still on earth, the other now in the light, belong to me, and my love is the stream that connects both shores. My child, do not close your heart to what you cannot fully understand. There are spiritual truths beyond the reach of reason, but felt deeply by a humble heart. If you keep your heart tender before me, you will begin to see that I do not create sacred relationships only to snatch them away without meaning. I am the one who builds eternal bonds. Every love that comes from me, though separated in body, will always have a place to return to in the soul. And there I dwell, not as a gatekeeper, but as the keeper of all that is holy and good between two hearts. So live not to forget, but to fulfill, not to replace, but to carry forward. Do not let pain seal your heart. They would not wish that. I do not wish that. Love once placed in me will always give birth to something new. And one day when this temporary life closes, you will hold them again in an embrace that will never be broken. But today, while you are still here, I invite you to live strong, sincere, and full of hope as part of a love that continues. Not because it was never broken, but because it was never lost. Believe this: when you sit in silence alone and your heart softens with old memories, it is then that I am closest to you. And it may well be that the love of the one you miss is being used by me as a gentle stream to water your soul. They do not return as a ghost, nor appear in human form, but their spirit, in my light, can still move, still witness, still encourage you through the seeds they once planted. A past teaching, a quiet sacrifice, a song once sung. I use even the smallest things to whisper to your soul. Love does not die. It is sanctified, and what is sanctified in me will endure forever. My child, it is within the frame of eternity that I have left you a treasure, not riches, but soul connection. When you love someone with true love, without clinging, without demanding, that love surpasses the bounds of life and death, that person, if they are mine, will never be lost from you. Love guarded by me will not be forsaken, will not fade, will not be erased by time. So instead of locking yourself in grief, let that love become your reason to live with purpose, to keep going, to keep trusting. Because love is no longer something that was, but something that is within me, and I am love unchanging. My beloved one, I know there are days when you look back and whisper, I've gone too far. You think you've hurt me too much, lived too long in sin, that there is no way back. I hear those silent accusations in your heart, and they grieve me. Not because you were wrong, but because you believed I no longer wanted you. But oh my child, nothing, not one mistake, not wasted years, not even a sigh in despair can close the door I have left open. I am a father, and a true father does not count the times you failed, only the moments you long to return. Perhaps you believe it's too late to start over that age circumstance, or the stains of your past cannot be washed clean. But know this, I do not measure your worth by the time you lost. I see only the time you have left, and I can work wonders in just one honest moment of return. There are no limits to my mercy, except the hardness that refuses to receive it. I am always ready, not because you deserve it, but because I am rich in compassion. As I spoke through the prophet Isaiah, though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. That is a promise, not a condition. You may have heard my voice long ago, then quietly turned away, believing you were unworthy. You may have once felt the prompting of my spirit, but feared what others might say. And so you stepped back. You stayed silent. But child, I am not silent out of anger. I am waiting for the moment when you no longer rely on your strength, no longer believe you must do enough to be accepted. I want you to come just as you are, with all your brokenness, your unhealed wounds, even the sins you think are beyond forgiveness. I do not call you to condemn. I call you to heal. You may think others are forgiven, but not me. But who told you that? Was it I, or the voice of the enemy? That enemy wants you to believe the door is shut, so you won't dare knock. But I say, when you knock, I will open. When you ask for mercy, I will answer with grace. When you bow low, I will lift you up. For I did not come to condemn the world, but to save it. And if what I did on the cross was enough to redeem all humanity, then it is enough to redeem a soul like yours. Don't let regret keep you from moving forward. There are things you cannot fix. Some relationships may not be restored. But child, I am not asking you to go back and patch up everything. I am inviting you to begin here now with a sincere heart. There is no too late in grace, only opportunity. And today, this is your opportunity. If you will dare to say, Lord, save me, then I am already here, arms wide open. You do not have to walk the whole way to find me. Just turn around and I will run to you. Remember this, child, there is no darkness too thick for my light to reach. no life too far gone for me to redeem. I have saved thieves, healed the unfaithful, restored the deniers, and I will do the same for you, not reluctantly, but with the joy of heaven. Every soul that returns is a celebration in eternity. And I, the King of Kings, am moved to tears by the one small soul who dares to say, I need you. That is the moment I wait for, not to judge you, but to hold you forever. Do you remember the story of the prodigal son? It is not just a parable, it is the nature of my love. That son wandered far, wasted his inheritance, lived carelessly, and believed he had nothing left to return with. But as soon as he chose to come back, the father ran to him. Don't overlook that detail, child. The father did not wait, did not judge, did not set conditions. He ran. And before the son could even finish his confession, the father gave him a robe, a ring, the fatted calf, and a feast. Why? Because to that father, as to me, love always goes ahead of apology. Others may still hold on to the version of you they prefer. They may label you failure, hypocrite, betrayer, or hopeless. But I do not. I call you by name, not by your past. I do not say, this is the one who disappointed me. I say, this is my child, once dead but now alive. Do you see, with me, resurrection is not a miracle for someone else. It begins in the mercy that meets a soul willing to turn. And that soul today can be yours. So my child, do not wait until you feel ready. No one is ever truly ready to be forgiven. Forgiveness is always a gift, never a reward. I am placing that gift before you. Open it, receive it. Let me do what no one else can, turn sins red as scarlet into snow-white grace. And in that moment you will not only be forgiven, you will be restored. Not to who you were, but to who you were always meant to be. Not striving to be worthy, but living freely as my beloved. You still have time, and I, your father, am still waiting. My beloved child. Now, as this letter nears its end, I know your heart may be stirring with many things, perhaps emotion, perhaps doubt, or maybe just a deep and quiet sigh. I do not ask you to understand everything. I do not expect you to respond right away. But if there is one thing I earnestly desire for you to remember, it is this. You are still loved, not because you have never failed, but because my love is greater than every mistake. From beginning to end, I have shown you that I am the one who sees, who knows, and who still waits. I see the loneliness you hide. I know the battles that rage in your mind each night. I have heard every whisper you never dared to speak aloud. And my dear child, I do not sit idly in the heavens watching you stumble. I have come down. I have stepped into this very life to love you in flesh and blood, to bear the wounds for your sake, to die and to rise again for your restoration. Therefore, my love for you is not just words, it is action, it is blood, it is life, and it is invitation. Throughout this letter, you have read of the loved one in eternity, who encourages you of forgiveness that is never too late, of a love that transcends the boundary of death, of silent guidance and dreams. Do you see? These are not mere comforts for the moment. They are reminders that I have never stopped pursuing you. Wherever you go, no matter how hardened your heart has grown from life, no matter how unworthy you feel, I still knock. Not loudly, not forcefully, just gently, because I want you to open the door out of love, not fear. You've walked long enough to know that the promises of the world are empty. I did not come to add another opinion to the noise. I came to lead you out of the maze of doubt and self-condemnation. You don't need to do anything to earn my acceptance. You only need to stop long enough to be held. Oh, child, come home, not as a guilty soul begging for pardon, but as a child finding the Father's arms again. That is the only place where your soul truly belongs. You might say, I don't know where to begin. I understand. So begin with a simple sentence, God, I need you. That is enough. You don't need to prepare a speech. I do not demand ceremony. I want truth. And the truth is, you have always needed me, and I have never stopped loving you. Not even for a second. Do you know that from the moment you read the first line of this letter, I have been present, not only through words, but through the Spirit. I have been right there in the room where you sit, in every breath you take, in each flicker of emotion stirring within. I have stood silently nearby, not knocking loudly, but never leaving. Because I know you are being drawn back, not by force of reason, but by a love that has never faded. So today, my child, say to me whatever first rises in your heart. It might be an apology, it might be a cry of frustration. It could be tears or simply silence. I welcome it all. I do not need you to come with a polished image. I only need you to come honestly. The rest, the healing, the restoration, the new beginning, that is, my part, do not delay. Do not wait until you feel good enough, strong enough, holy enough. You will never be enough if you are apart from me. But if you come, I will be enough. I am the one full of mercy, slow to anger, abounding in loving kindness and faithfulness. And you, the child I once cradled in, my eternal thought, have always been called home. This letter is not a composition. It is the heartbeat of my being. It is a quiet yet profound call to the deepest place within you, the place no one else can reach but me. If you hear that call, do not delay. Do not overthink it. Do not let the noise outside drown out the whisper within. Respond, even with a word, even with a silent nod, even with a single tear, because I see, I know, and I will enter in. I, your eternal one, am always near, and I am waiting for you to come home. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this, you are not just an audience, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of God's Word. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any sacred message. Amen.